The dressing gown is coming off. There we go. Welcome, listeners. It's Tosh time. Well, actually, maybe it's not Tosh time yet. I think we need to ease the audience in gently.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I was just putting my hair up.
Ah, yes. Getting in the podcast mood. I take off your dressing gown, Ellie puts her hair up.
And we're ready to go.
We all have our ways, but it's not quite Tosh time yet. I think we're going to sort of ease the audience in with a little bit of sort of relaxing classical music.
Oh. This is very soothing, David.
Sometimes the mashups, you don't have to do anything. You just set the two things going and they just work seamlessly.
That felt like we were in some sort of weird care home when we're older. Where they're like, oh, you know what they like? Because they're old.
So
they
we'll
like some classical.
We'll get a little chamber orchestra in.
Yeah, let's just do a bit of what they listened to when they were young.
It's as if AI was trying to program music for a care home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got the nice relaxing classical music, but it's like, yeah, we've got to give them a bit of Underworld as well. You don't want to play Underworld in a care home. Seems a little pointed.
You don't want to be born slippy. Because they're falling over all over the place. Hips are hard to come by.
I was just thinking, if people I was planning on explaining to people if they just tuned in and this is the first time they've tuned in or they weren't tuning in last week, they're going to wonder what the heck was going on.
Yes.
But that was because we were talking about the composer Dvorak, who wrote the New World Symphony. That was Largo, that particular movement, which of course means broad and slow. Also my sexual modus operandi.
What is the broad? Never mind.
You're the broad, my dear. So we were talking about that, and then we discovered that Dvorak was into trains, and maybe even said train spotting.
Yes, it did say train spotting.
Yeah, it was into train spotting, as in the act of train spotting rather than the film. It then linked us to me going shouting Largo, 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 hence why we did that. I mean, some people who weren't listening last week go, I don't think you need to really explain it, David.
I think it was very clear.
It just came together. Presumably you played it because the two things just come together perfectly, those songs.
It did make the inside of my ear twitch a little bit. I can't explain it better than that, but yeah, it was interesting.
You do sound very much like when a child's brought back some like drawing or something and the parent doesn't quite know what it is. It's very interesting.
Is that you? No, obviously it's a dinosaur. Oh, yes, of course it is.
I've got all sorts of news for you, Ellie. I don't know what's going on in the Facebook group, but I can tell you. Well, actually, let's start, as we often do, by having a look. So we're recording this particular bit on the Tuesday, so there's a week hasn't quite gone by yet, but I think we were up to 37 Facebook members, so we're growing at a rate of 3 a week. So how are we looking this week?
I don't think we had 37 because we're still on 36.
Okay, we're on 36 then, and we're still on 36. So we've stopped now. We've stagnated, listeners, on 36. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, in big Facebook group news, we have had the weekly summary, and it said the quick summary of what your new community had going on this week. 4 new members, 6 new
This is
posts.
last week, presumably.
Well, it only came through today, so it's done, the last sort of. And also, if you recall, it didn't do a summary last time.
No, there was no news.
6 new posts, and then post of the week,
Okay.
I'm afraid to say, is me.
Oh. Things are really going well for us on the David Eagle podcast.
Welcome to the new listeners in the group. Feel free to say hello. And then there's a picture of a robin in the garden.
Ellie. Well done, Ellie. Post of the week there. It's definitely worth a jingle.
This morning I went out to go and put some plants outside, and as I was outside, a little robin hopped along to the bin, caught a fly in its mouth, had a fly in its beak, hopped down by the back door, and then disappeared. And I thought, oh no, there's only one place it could have gone to, because it hadn't gone back past me. And so I went inside, and it was flying around the kitchen, and I had to shut the door to the rest of the house so it didn't get upstairs. And it hopped around, it landed on the kitchen cabinets and then on the back door, and then it flew out.
There we go.
So there you go.
It's just like David Attenborough. If people were wondering who's going to supersede, who's going to go after David Attenborough, I think we're finding out now. Ellie Skinner is there ready to take that mantle, should it be needed.
We've also had a comment from Helen today saying, just walking through Hillsborough Park singing Folly Rolly Rolly, totally normal. It's a tune.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got a comment from Steve about his song yet.
Well, I don't know, because he is on holiday. He sent the group a picture. I believe he's in Cork. He was going on a cruise, wasn't he? But before we get to that, Olivia said that she's had it stuck in her head since listening to the podcast on Saturday morning. So it's
there
very
you go,
catchy.
Steve. This is a little collaboration. Not quite as successful as Underworld and Vorjak, I'm sure you'll agree, Steve, but pretty good nonetheless, I hope you'll think, between Felix Stowaway's Shanty Band and Beyonce. I don't know if there's any point in me just explaining things to new listeners,
No,
because
I think just...
we clearly haven't got new listeners.
Andrew has posted in the group
So
saying...
this is not Andy, this is Andrew.
This is Andrew. Loving the podcast, just listening to the latest episode, and David started talking about the QWERTY keyboard on a typewriter. I was led to believe that the layout was so that the subsequent letters were further away, and so 2 letter arms wouldn't jam, rather than just for speed, as David suggested.
No. I don't think you've listened to this properly, Andrew. I don't want to do a slow motion replay. I said it was designed to slow people down. I see what he's saying.
Yes, so if you're typing 2 keys
Right.
and they're quite close to each other...
So I think it was a mix of that. It was all
Those
in
could
order to
knock
slow
each
them
other.
down so you weren't pressing things too much and they weren't like grinding.
Yeah.
Almost. The mechanical arms weren't grinding. But yes, for that reason, they had it also where the letters were at a distance away from each other.
So they weren't likely to
So I
knock
think the
into each
two,
other.
I think you've just kind of given an extra bit of detail there on top of what I originally said.
Well, I said, to be fair, we do little to no research for this podcast, to which Olivia replied, speak for yourself. I did heaps on Matty the other week, and she did lots of laughy emojis.
I don't want to know what you did with Matty. I've never heard
Claire
it described as that
said-
before.
I was always...
Again, if you've not listened to the podcast before, you're going, heaps on Matty. What the hell's going on here?
Claire says, I was always told that the most used letters were in the centre, went out to the least used for the little fingers. And that was in the days where they tried to teach her to touch type. And then Ben's chimed in with, it's a bit of both, I think.
Listeners might be wondering, we didn't obviously do a house party at Ben's. That was one thing we were talking about, going to Ben's house.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, David. We've got a comment in the group from Ben saying, spoiler, if you haven't listened to this week yet, my wife has just had a repeated heart attack at your suggestion that you're coming to do the podcast live from our house. She went into a panic saying the house isn't tidy enough to receive all those visitors, but then she told Blossom, who loved the idea.
Well, maybe we need to wait until your wife's away, Ben, and then we can all descend upon you, as it were.
We'll all come to 2 spikes.
Excellent. That's very confusing if you're a new listener. Anyway.
And then the last post in the group for this week so far is from Andy, who's put a picture of you at Ram Comedy Festival.
Yes.
With the accordion. It's not the most flattering picture of you. It is mid-song. So your mouth's open very wide, but it is quite funny. And it says, legend, what a great set and such a lovely chap to talk to. And I met Fiona.
Yes, so I did my gig at Derby Comedy Festival. We have a little clip from that very soon. But at that festival, there was my gig, Andy and Fiona, 2 podcast listeners. It was a lot of excitement. When Andy and Fiona met after my show, firstly, Andy came up and introduced themselves to me, and then Fiona came up. She introduced herself. I said, "Oh, Andy, this is Fiona, another podcast listener." And then Fiona, very excited, said, "Oh, Andy, you listen to the podcast as well." And then they both spontaneously embraced each other.
The David Eagle podcast, bringing people together again.
Maybe out of support, they just need to cling on to someone, cling on to each other for help. But it was a lovely moment. They were overcome by the emotion of having a podcast listener in their midst. And they just sort of spontaneously embraced. I'm pleased to say that's all they did. They didn't start, doing anything else and then role playing. I'll be David, you'll be Ellie. All right, okay. Mouth open wide, David. Right.
I don't think I like this.
That's because of Andy taking the photo.
Yes, I know.
All right, yeah. But both Andy and Fiona had brought me gifts. I can't believe it. When Andy said, "I've got a present," and then Fiona said, "Oh, I've got a present as well." So we've not opened these yet. So I'm just hoping it's not like an animal or something. A little animal.
They got us a puppy and we've just left it in a bag for days.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a look now. We're going to open these presents and find out what we've got. So we're doing well financially from this podcast.
Okay.
So I have them in my bag here.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, still alive. Right.
Do we know which is which?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've absolutely no idea. Okay, here's present 1.
Oh, okay.
Does it have written on it?
No, it is.
So this is either from Andy or from Fiona. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, it is a bag full of tea.
Okay.
Okay, so
what kind of teas have we got?
we have got a Twinings, cranberry and raspberry, a pure
I can
peppermint,
already tell you I won't be liking that one.
a chamomile, a mango and strawberry.
Oh, I won't be liking that either.
Okay,
Sorry,
but you will like the chamomile and the
Oh,
peppermint.
yeah, I will do. Oh, I'm
hell.
grateful. I don't want
This one
I just don't like fruit teas, as we've established.
we-
But that's fine,
we've-
because
yeah.
Ellie can take them into work.
We've got an invigorating peppermint,
Oh.
a revitalising lemon and ginger,
Right.
a moment of calm African honeybush mandarin
We've already
and
had
orange.
that with a classical music interlude.
I wondered where you were going then. And then we've got some tea pigs. We've got apple and cinnamon, licorice and peppermint, lemon and ginger, superfruit.
I think that's one of my childhood stories.
Hibiscus, elderberries, currants, blackcurrants, cranberries and blueberries. And then another chamomile.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm not
Whichever
entirely
of you
sure if it was designed for us to
Read
open
out.
on the podcast. We could have just said, and someone's got us some teas.
Oh, okay. So this is in a gift bag.
This is in a
there
gift
tag?
bag here.
David and Ellie, thank you for your great podcast. You can probably guess whose is whose from Fiona.
You can probably guess whose is whose.
Has it got a bit of a smell to it?
Or is it 2 things?
Well, presumably. I haven't
Okay,
opened
well,
it.
let's find out. I don't know what it is. Like a lemony smell coming from it. Could it be a bath bomb?
Oh.
Because we've talked about snorting the lemon bath bomb.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I was right. There's 2 things here.
Okay.
One is a bath bomb, I think, or
No, it's
soap.
not. It's a soap. Lemon and bergamot. Ooh.
Soap. And then
It's Soap Folk.
there's this. Hell's this?
Ah, it's a little crochet key ring.
Ah.
It is in the shape of a pink daisy.
So I'm assuming that's for you. As it's crocheted, that soap smells absolutely wonderful.
Well, maybe that's the
Oh, I'll
next
tell you
one
what,
to go
Andy will
out.
be absolutely livid here. I'm not going to drink that, Andy. And then all of a sudden, oh, this soap is absolutely incredible. It smells lovely.
Yeah.
But the thing is, actually, Andy, the teas will smell lovely. That's the weird thing about fruit tea, is I absolutely love the smells.
You also
then I
like
don't like
them.
the taste.
You quite like them when I cold brew them.
Often.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Absolute craziness.
There we go.
Wonderful stuff. So
Feel free, anybody else, to bring us presents if you want, but you do not have to.
I mentioned that we were going to play a little clip from the gig, and that's because during the gig there was an inadvertent technological progression masquerading as technological regression.
No, it wasn't.
Oh no. Technological regression masquerading. Oh, here we go. I need to do another belch. See if I can hold it in. I can't hold it in. It's time for a technological regression. No.
Yes.
Yes. Technological regression masquerading as technological progression.
Technological regression masquerading as technological progression. Technological regression masquerading as technological progression.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I was wrong about that. Oh. Brilliant. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my screen reader on my computer there telling me that Windows is installing an update and it's going to restart outside of active hours. And apparently that means in 3 minutes. This is the only thing I've been doing. My entire day has been building up to this, and my computer's gone, we're going to restart in 3 minutes. What could possibly go wrong? There probably is a thing that I can select, but I mean, this is going to be somewhat unprofessional. So I've now got to go to the computer, find restart, and then... Oh, I've got restart now. That's all I've got, restart now. Does anyone know if the 2026 5.5 net framework is important to update now, or can it... More options. More options. Oh, that takes me to the internet. I think it's going to... Does anyone want to know my update history? I think it's going to restart now. Yeah, I think it's restarted. Excellent. Okay, well, there we go. Wish me luck, everyone. That could be interesting. I'm slightly worried because I'm not actually doing any of the talking. I'm just miming, and it's all been done by AI. And now I'm actually going to have to think of what to talk about. So that's going to update at some point. Oh, the bloody hell, the next thing it does is it starts shouting at me what percentage I'm up to when it's updating. I'll turn that down. Right. Okay. Absolutely brilliant. The reason I got into folk music is very much because of sort of trying to get away from technology when it came to music. Because I remember doing a gig with a band when I was at uni, and it was like this sort of rock band thing. And I had this sound module, and I had a keyboard set up, and we were playing. But you know when music sometimes is just so loud, you can't really hear what's going on. But I was like, I'm sure everything that seems to be being played is out of tune. It sounds absolutely hideous. And I thought, I'm sure I'm playing the right notes, but it sounds like everything's out of tune. And it wasn't until after the gig that I realised that what had happened is my little sound module thing on the thing had slipped down, and it had knocked the pitch bend. It had knocked the pitch bend of the keyboard thing, so everything I was playing was a semitone out of tune. Anyway, this is... sorry, the tickets were only £8, weren't they? So, yeah. Right, it's updated. So now I've got to start the screen reader. We're going to be absolutely fine. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's just I'm going to do some comparing. Ask what you do for a living, and then I'm going to get on with my accounts. Because being a folk singer, I'm raking it in. I've got to keep up with the... right, brilliant. So now I think we're ready. Yes. I'm going to need that a little bit later on for the striptease. Recently, I got one of those OK Google devices, and it's like a personal assistant thing, and it says it's meant to respond in a human-like manner. And I don't think it's doing a very good job of this, which is surprising, really, because the people who are deciding what a human interaction is are computer programmers. A group of people famed for their social skills. If there are any computer programmers, and they'd love to heckle back, but they're too socially awkward, so... Really fine. It's all right, I'm a folk singer, I'm hardly socially alluring. I tell you what, though, this gig has improved since Windows updated. It really has. They've excelled themselves, Microsoft.
When's people's next opportunity to see a full show from you?
No idea. You're trying to plan your affair when you're
I was thinking you could plug the 12th of July, David.
Oh, right, OK. I thought you were like, when are you next out the house, David? So, for a concerted period of time. If you are in the Sheffield area, I will be doing what was meant to be, I think, a sort of 45-minute, 50-minute set, a double header with the wonderful comedian Nina Gilligan. But Nina Gilligan's been given a better job. She's now doing the cruise circuit, and that's quite a high earner. comparatively to this. Certainly in comparison to doing a podcast. Hey, but I bet you Nina doesn't get given fruit, tea and soap, does she?
No.
So she's not doing it. So I just suggested, why don't I just do the whole thing? So I'm now doing a 90-minute show, I think it is, or maybe even a little bit longer, I don't know. So there'll be an interval in between where fans of the David Eagle podcast can huddle together. That'll be lovely. So that's at, where is it?
Shakespeare's.
The wonderful Shakespeare's.
Street.
In Sheffield on the 12th of July. And I think the tickets...
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, is it? Right.
Yeah.
So that might be a little tricky, but hopefully not. I think it may have been a Sunday last time I did it, and that was sold out. Tickets are £9.
Unless you're on the mailing list.
And
then
list,
you can
and then
get
it's
a code for
£7.
£7.
But I would strongly urge you not to take advantage of that discount, because less money goes to me. I have for you now the first part of a new gripping story. A novella, if you will, that I composed at the age of 9 that we happened upon when my dad brought me over from the house in Hartlepool a big box of books, Braille books, that I have written myself in Braille. We found a story in there. A story that I can't remember writing. A story that, because I couldn't remember writing it, but we were quite surprised that it had a contents page with all the page numbers. But even then, I just assumed that I had pretended to write the story, if you know what I mean. I just thought, what would be a fun contents page of an imaginary book? And there were about 80 pages, apparently. Page 80 was when the last chapter ended. So I was slightly concerned, but then we turned over the page, and the next page, after the contents page, was the beginning of the story. So we read of the first couple of lines of this story on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. But then I was still a bit concerned. There was only going to be, I'd only written 2 pages. I suppose I've got no recollection of writing an 80-page story when I was 9. So we flicked through the pages last night, and we got to page 10, and we were still going, page 20. Didn't read any of the contents, just checked to make sure it was still the story of the Brain King written at the top. And sure enough it was, and we got to page 80, and the story of the Brain King finished. So I'm pleased to say the entire story is in my possession. And it's time now for part 1 of the story of the Brain King. The Story of the Brain King by D.A. Eagle. Level 1. The Lost Dog. Marisa and I were best friends, and had been now for a long time. Marisa, a young boy, aged 9, and I, 10, have been through some spectacular adventures, and this is just one of another incredible series of books called Marisa and I. Time grew long, and many things, all boring, had we been through since the old man from next door moved in. We hadn't had a moment of excitement since the old man from next door moved in, Mr. Frogshot, who was always grumbling and complaining. Mum said, just give him a little time to settle in. But no, we would not. Harry was Marisa's brother, and he had gone away with my mum and dad to In or Out World. I'd never heard of it. Anyway, the old man was looking after us. Never mind, dear, Marisa will be staying with you. That made me pleased. So, Marisa and I, almost you could say, lived together. And it was great fun. Marisa and I had got the internet. It was brilliant. We used to make codes and all sorts of brilliant things. One day... So what I should do, interrupt this, is if I was 9, this would be 94. So I don't think I'd ever been on the internet.
No.
So my idea of what the internet is quite unusual, as you'll find out.
Okay.
Marisa and I had got the internet. It was brilliant. We used to make codes and all sorts of brilliant things. One day, the 3rd day of living together, we heard some news. Mr. Frogshot had lost his dog. It must have run away because Mr. Frogshot was too cruel and beat it. It was a great dog. Its name was Rang Don Lead because his master was wanting it to be a cruel and vicious dog, just like his master, the old man. Just to show you how fierce Mr. Frogshot was, here is his name. Hitler Authority Frogshot. And he was called that because he wanted to sound fierce. But Mr. Frogshot was a strange fellow. And that is no mistake.
Hitler Authority frog shot. Because he wanted to sound
Also,
fierce.
he wanted his dog.
Didn't name himself.
Oh, yeah. You know, he must have chosen the name. I mean, like, he presumably wasn't called that.
No.
But then
he's
later on in life, he decided to tell people he was called Hitler
Authority frog shot.
Bear in mind, I don't quite understand. If he was called Hitler Authority frog shot, why would my parents let me stay with him? Oh, yeah, well, just let him. We're off on holiday. And this is the other thing as well.
Yeah.
He'd taken Harry, Maurice's brother.
Yeah.
My parents had taken Harry on holiday with him. I don't know the story about that, why Maurice's parents were and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe they'd gone on holiday with him as well, which explains why Maurice was staying. But why you wouldn't go, oh, who could we get to look after them? It's like, oh, we've got, well, there's that new neighbour, you know. Hitler Authority frog shot. Hitler Authority, do you mind if...
Who beats his dog?
Exactly. Why would you let your children?
But Mr. Frogshot was a strange fellow, and that is no mistake. Mr. Frogshot's dog used to fetch us out our ball every time it went over, so it was sad when we heard that he had run away. We decided that we must help find him, not for Mr. Frogshot, but for us. We had on the internet a special dog code. We typed in the code, which I won't tell you at the moment, and the screen changed from black and white to a red dot. Oh. The red dot grew bigger until it turned into a dog. Great, said Marisa. That's him. We followed the dog on the screen. Now, Marisa, quick, I said. We grabbed the control, located the dog, and pulled it towards us. The internet is very clever. And it was controlling the dog by the code. Past the shops, past the trees, narrowly avoiding people's feet. He crashed into one man and he fell down. Ouch! Watch out! I cried, and I grabbed the controller off Marisa, just saving the dog from being knocked down by a car. Then, woof, 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 woof. The dog was back in the house and bounding up the stairs. He bounded into our bedroom with a tremendous bark. Then the dot came once again. The dot grew smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and was gone. Next time on The Story of the Brain King. 2. A Strange Report, in brackets, BBC One.
There we are. Part 1 of the story.
Oh.
I love my idea of what the internet would be like.
Yeah.
That you could just... You've lost a dog, you just type in this... It was a dog code.
Yeah.
Like, no idea how we would have possibly coded this. We used to write codes, and somehow someone's lost their dog and we can just type it in. And I like my explanation for it, because you might be thinking, this is a bit far-fetched. How would you possibly do that? And I just say, the internet was very clever. The internet is very clever.
And maybe when you finished it, you could just release it as an audio book on the podcast feed. So if somebody wants to play it to their kids without the rest of
without all of the stuff. And
it could be like an omnibus of...
Yeah, that's a good idea. We've got good friends in the podcast world. We've got our good friend Carl, who's an illustrator.
Yeah.
So we could sort of do a book on top of this, perhaps. Who knows? Talking of Carl, you said that we'd...
I'm sure there was something from
You
Carl.
said you'd had a message from Carl.
Yes,
there was a Facebook post from Carl, something to do with the podcast. Carl, you may remember, was the yodeling aficionado on the Eagle is Stranded episodes in 2020 during lockdown, and where we really got into yodeling, and Carl was very helpful in that.
Carl says, my son and I created a car game. It's called Banana Bogey Trump Aubergine. You're looking for a yellow, green, orange and purple card.
Ah.
So when you see one, you shout the relevant word. Green car's a bogey, orange car's a trump, purple aubergine and yellow banana. You can keep score and see which colour wins by the end of your journey, but probably not a good one for you, David. Sorry.
Good to have you with us, Carl. Lurking. I didn't realise you were still listening. And we've got some more drama for you now as we head into the kitchen, where I tell you another story from my teenage years. So it's very rare for me to read Braille these days, but obviously I've been having to read the Braille for the story of the Brain King. So that's reminded me of this Braille reading story. And this
This was when I was at college. The reason I'm laughing at that is because I think that makes it all the more ridiculous. I think at least if I was in early years of secondary school or in primary school, my behaviour could have been excused. But the fact that I would have been 16, it adds a different complexion on things. So I went to a sixth form college that was in a Catholic school. We had quite a few church things that we had to do. And in the spirit of inclusion, I was asked to read one of the readings for the church service. This was a main church service. It wasn't a college church service. We did have our own chapel, but this was, it makes it sound very posh. It was... We're in Hartlepool. I didn't go to like a special posh school or anything like that. So this is a normal Sunday service, and now and again the students would do a reading. They'd asked me to do this reading, and they'd been so kind as to get it brailled for me as well. And obviously what they assumed I would do is I would read the braille during the service. I would read the reading, I'd go up to the lectern with the braille, and I'd read it. But I decided that I would commit it to memory. Now, I'd like to say this is mainly because my braille reading skills aren't brilliant. Like, I'm not the fastest of readers, and I just thought it'd be more comfortable to commit it to memory, and then I don't have to worry about the reading. I'd like to say that was the reason, but I remember this quite well. I wanted to commit it to memory because I wanted people to think that when I approached the lectern with no words written down, nothing to read, and started speaking the word of God, that people would be so impressed. They would just think, my goodness, the word of God is flowing through him. And maybe they'd be reminded of that story of Jesus when he left his family when he was a child, and Jesus was lost, and eventually they found him. And of course he was preaching in the church, and he had all these priests and all of these scholars sitting around him, and they were listening to this child preaching the word of God. And maybe I wanted people to think that. I wanted people to think, my goodness, the word of God is just flowing through him. I don't know why it didn't cross my mind that if I'd have committed the thing to memory, if I'd have memorised it, why people wouldn't have just thought, oh, he's memorised it. Never crossed my mind. I just thought, no. Obviously, they'll jump to the first conclusion they'll jump to is that the word of God is flowing through him. He's obviously got some sort of special gift. And I think this maybe even puts a different complexion on it as well. I wasn't even necessarily believing at this point. I reached a point in my life where I wasn't really into the whole church thing. We had to go because we were at college, but I didn't really believe in any of it. And so, an extra level of hubris, because I didn't believe in it, but I wanted other people to think that the word of God was flowing through me. Maybe in a kind of like, oh, they're simple folk. You know, they'll just assume that the word of God is flowing through me, these people. Rather than the obvious, which is, I've memorised it. So I memorised it. Now, I wasn't so hubristic as to not practice. I practiced a few times, and I'd committed it fully to memory. So the day of the service came, and I very confidently strode to the lectern. And I let it sink in. I sort of let it sink into the congregation. Let them notice that I wasn't wearing... Sorry, I wasn't wearing anything. That I wasn't reading anything. I wanted them to notice that I wasn't reading anything. So I might have done a little kind of opening of the hands almost, so they could see, no, there's nothing to see here. And I began. Fight the good fight. And I was really pleased with the way that I'd said it. I felt like I'd said it really well. And what was really good as well is that I could hear it reverberating around the church. And I wanted to bask in that moment. A little bit longer. I wanted to hear my words reverberate. And I thought, my goodness, I was particularly pleased with that. And I allowed myself, I hope I didn't smile. You know, that might have been a bit weird. Fight the good fight, and then I've got this grin on my face. Yeah, like that. That was pretty good, wasn't it? There's more where that came from, everybody. But I was really pleased with it. And I really enjoyed the sound of my voice reverberating around the church. And it just gave me a moment as well to think how the audience, I'm thinking of it as an audience now, rather than the congregation, how the congregation must have thought. Because I think they would have listened. There was a voice that was commanding. I was a 16-year-old, but my voice had broken by now. It had broken quite early. It was quite a deep, rich voice. Compared to the people who'd been on before, they were only school kids. I think there was one primary school and one secondary school, but both of their voices hadn't broken. And, you know, they had quite reedy voices. And I think all of a sudden, the next voice they heard, not only did I not have any paper with me, so that's automatically another thing that, you know, separates me from the others. But then my voice suddenly booms out, fight the good fight. And I think people were listening. People were listening, people were paying attention. I was wowing people. Now, I know you should be thinking, David, this is meant to be the word of God. People are meant to be focused on the words, on what it means. This isn't meant to be about you. I don't come off very well in this story, but I'm about to come off a lot worse. So I'm basking in the sound of my own voice, reverberating around the church. Fight the good fight. Anyway, obviously I can't leave too long of a pause. I open my mouth again to say the rest of it. And then I realised that there might be another reason why I'd paused. Maybe I hadn't quite grasped this at the time, but maybe it wasn't just hubris. Maybe it wasn't just the fact that I wanted to hear my own voice. I think the other reason I may have paused was because I couldn't remember anything else. I couldn't remember anything else. I couldn't remember any other words other than fight the good fight. Now, at this point, there's not necessarily any need to panic, or at least not any need to show panic. I'd still got this. All that had happened so far is I'd gone up confidently, strode to the lectern, let them see that there was no paper in my hands, and then said, fight the good fight. And just paused for 2 or 3 seconds. I don't think there was anything unusual about that pause, but if I didn't start speaking soon, it was about to get a bit unusual. So I needed to speak. And I was still quite confident, I think, at this point. I thought, okay, clearly what's happened here is when I practiced it in my head, I didn't imagine the reverberance of the church, and I didn't imagine leaving that pause. And obviously I've got the adrenaline coursing through me, and I'd never practiced in front of the lectern. So, I thought, this is all fine, this is all manageable. All I need to do is bring myself back to the moment, refocus, and say, fight the good fight again. Just say it again, fight the good fight. Because then what will happen is it'll trick my brain into remembering the rest of it. I didn't bring the braille along with me. I didn't provide myself with a get out. Imagine if I'd brought the wrong words. I pull the piece of paper, the emergency backup piece of paper out of my pocket, but it's the wrong one. And I suddenly start reading The Story of the Brain King by D.A. Eagle. I was like, what the bloody hell? The Lost Dog. So now I've got nothing I can do. I can't read the words. There's nothing for it. I've got to remember it. Otherwise I can't do this reading. And the cockiness of me just going up to the lectern really confidently, doing a slightly parting of the hands to show them I've got nothing to see here. I think that some of them wouldn't have even known I was blind. And then said fight the good fight and then suddenly couldn't remember it. That would be a bit odd. So I needed to start from the top. I thought start from the top, take it slowly, and by the time you've done that, your brain will have remembered the rest of it. So indeed I did. But I think what happened was, as I started to say fight the good fight for the second time, I think I was saying it quite slowly. Because as I said fight, I realised, no, still haven't remembered it. Still hadn't remembered it. Good, still hadn't remembered it. Fight. So at this point, so I didn't say it crazily slowly, but I did go fight the good fight. So I said it at that speed. Again, it's a bit strange maybe for the congregation, but maybe they thought, no, he really passionately believes in this fight the good fight thing. And I wasn't sure at first. Fight the good fight? Yeah, maybe I was thinking about my Sunday dinner. But then all of a sudden he said fight the good fight again, and I thought, you know something, I think I will. He's really made me think about that. And some people, the other people, the reedy voiced kids who we've had before, they've not really had that made me think again quality. But this person with his voice booming out saying fight the good fight. So anyway, the audience have now heard fight the good fight. And then a 3-second pause, and then fight the good fight. And at this point, I don't think I'm belying any concern. I'm aware that it's very important to not let the congregation see that I'm struggling here. I'm still reasonably confident, so I reasoned that what had happened here is the pause had confused me. Fight the good fight, and then the pause had confused me. When I'd been practicing it, I was probably just running through the words at a reasonable speed, just to make sure I knew it. So I thought, this is the problem. What you need to do is you need to say fight the good fight and then not leave any gap. So that was what I decided to do. I thought this time I need to trick my brain, trick my mouth into just saying the rest of the words. So I thought, what you're going to do this time, David, you're going to say fight the good fight, but you're not going to stop talking. Your lips are going to keep moving, and the natural thing, the obvious thing that's going to happen is your brain is going to know, oh, his mouth's still moving, and it's just going to continue. And the words are just going to flow through you. So that's what I did. I said, fight the good fight, and I kept my mouth moving, and I kept sound coming out. But unfortunately, that essentially meant that I went, fight the good fight, and just made some kind of nebulous noise. Fight the good fight. So now I was a bit worried, to be honest. I think this is the moment where it dawned on me that I wasn't going to remember the words. And it was starting probably, I'd imagine at this point now, to dawn on the audience, on the congregation, that I'd forgotten the words as well. And now I'm worried. They've seen a man walk up to the lectern very confidently, slightly part his hands. Nothing too ostentatious, but just maybe in a little gesture of, look, no words. Then, and I will just recreate what they would have heard. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. That's how it went. Then there was more silence where I considered what to do next. Maybe a few awkward throat clears from the congregation. And then I said, I'm sorry everybody, I can only remember fight the good fight. And I started mumbling fight the good fight to myself, trying to remember the rest of it. I'm going, fight the good fight. Fight the good fight. I just kept saying fight the good fight. I said, no, I'm sorry, I can only remember fight the good fight. No. And at this point, this is embarrassing and it is enough in itself. But then it gets worse because one of the reedy voiced children comes up to me and he says, just read it. And I said, I can't read it. I said, I haven't brought the words with me. He doesn't realise I'm blind at this point. A lot of the congregation might have not realised I was blind as well. I said, I can't read it. I said, I haven't got the words. And then the reedy voiced child points to the lectern and says, it's written on there. After all of that, the words were on the lectern anyway, so as far as the congregation were aware, I would have just been reading it from the lectern. They would have had absolutely no idea that I wasn't reading it. So, goodness knows, but my silly, ostentatious gesture of separating my hands out to go, hey, no words, that wouldn't have meant anything to them, because they would have just seen me walk over to the lectern with the words on, separate my hands slightly, and then said, fight the good fight, and done all of that. So this reedy voiced child said, it's written on there. And, you know, the congregation will be able to hear this. And then I had to turn to the child. And obviously, I suppose I could have explained it. Now I'm blind, I read Braille. I don't have the words in me, so I can't read that. But at this point, I'm just so crestfallen. I'm so lacking in confidence. And I just said to the reedy voiced child, this primary school kid, I said, I can't read. And then the child stepped forward, and yes, in a reedy voice, but nonetheless one that had a lot more authority now than me, began to read, fight the good fight, and read the rest of it. So he read it, and I just stood next to him. Stood next to him. Bearing in mind, he's tiny, this tiny child. And the 16-year-old who had all the confidence before, fight the good fight, all of this, just standing there while this little reedy voiced primary school child reads it perfectly well. And then I thought, as he was reading, I thought, well, I know it ends with this is the word of the Lord. So I thought when he goes to say this is the word of the Lord, I can cut across him and say this is the word of the Lord. I remember that bit. But then I thought, you can't make a joke of this. There's nothing, you can't salvage it. Like, the congregation aren't going to laugh. They're just going to think you're even more of a prick. If I push a child out the way and went, this is the word of the Lord, I've got this, thank you. But in some ways, it was very much, I suppose, a parable. A parable was being lived out in front of their eyes. You know, one of the 7 deadly sins is pride. And I'd gone on up to that lectern with so much pride. I was basking in the sound of my own voice as it reverberated around. I was imagining that other people in the congregation would have thought, my goodness, what a voice. And what an incredible gift that he's got the word of God just flows through him effortlessly. All of that pride. And of course, that came before a very big fall. Maybe I could have tried to take credit for it. Maybe I could have said, now, what we've experienced here, what I have given you. Maybe I could have tried to do my own sermon to try and rectify the situation. You know, I could have talked about blessed are the meek. Well, I wasn't very meek there, was I? You heard my voice booming out. I wasn't very meek in the slightest. I could have talked about the 7 deadly sins. I could have talked about pride. Maybe I could have redeemed it. And at the end of that, maybe they would have applauded me. And the priest would have gone, my goodness. He probably knew those words. But he did that deliberately. He sacrificed himself on this altar in order to give us a lesson. And that sermon is going to stay with us for a long time. It could have been a lot worse. At that point in time, I didn't realise that there were certain political speakers who don't have a wee before they do their speeches. Because if I'd have learnt that, then I'd probably... hubris would have gone, well, that's what I'm going to do. And then I would have gone on, not had a wee, gone on with a full bladder, suddenly got very nervous when I realised I couldn't remember the words, and then pissed myself in front of the whole congregation. And then, you know, I don't think there's much I could have done to come back from that. Oh, I could have made a joke of it. And now we're going to sing the hymn, Make Me a Channel of Your Piss. Make me a channel of your piss. Piss be with you, everybody.
Olivia. Olivia. Olivia.
And Claire. There we are. Hope you don't mind, Claire. We are going to read your email out, and I just tapered you on to the end of the Olivia jingle there. We might be able to find a little jingle for Claire, maybe. Who knows? I'm mentioning Claire because Claire has sent us an email as well. It'll be a briefer examination of your emails because I've just got back from a gig and it's 11:30. Ellie has to be up early in the morning.
I have to go and get an 8 o'clock tram to go and do my first aid training.
Yes, that's right. She's learning to make fizzy drinks. Listeners, with a soda stream, she's ready to go. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Ellie, so let's start with Claire. What's she got to say for herself?
She says, good morning, David and Ellie.
Oh.
Thanks for your hard work on this week's podcast.
Again, is it Claire last time who said, I appreciate your effort?
Yes.
I just like it. I like it. She's very like a teacher. I like it. She compliments us on our hard work and our effort.
Let's keep your positive thing up and not go over the top.
Keep me positive thing up.
Yes.
All right, okay.
David, at least once you talked over Ellie. This time, I know you're hyped up on adrenaline, so it's forgiven. So we don't need to give her a yellow card.
You can give me timestamps, Claire. And I think if you give me timestamps, we'll analyse them and we'll see if it was justified. We can put them to the vote. We can do a slow motion replay, Claire.
And then Ellie, I love the comeback. Immersing yourself in the language like I'm doing living here with you. All the best.
What does that mean?
Well, you said something about immersing yourself in the language, and I said, yes, like I'm doing here with you.
Yes, that was very good, actually. And as I was editing the podcast, I think I did sort of just move on. But sometimes it's absolutely fine. Not every joke has to be commented on, like I just did with my little joke about the soda stream. Sometimes a joke can just happen.
And it's very rare that you allow my jokes to happen in the podcast.
I mean, I do edit a lot of Ellie's jokes out. She's always coming up with things, but I can't be upstage, so I'll take them out.
Please display the photo in the group. Cheers, Claire. 4 kisses and then brackets. 2 each.
Oh.
So I did have to get her to remind me what she was talking about because I couldn't remember. And it was the picture of you with your dressing gown, flinging it open. But that's gone in the group due to popular demand, along with an additional one of you in your dressing gown in the bathroom that I don't think you knew was taken.
I didn't know you were taking 4. I look like you're taking...
And then
oh, my
Simon
goodness.
has commented, is this turning into an OnlyFans? I mean, if we could make the money that people make on OnlyFans...
It's incredible, isn't it? People do things, even like... There was someone who was saying, like, people obviously just pictures of their feet.
Yeah.
Is a big thing.
Comedian Jessie Cave and actress Jessie Cave has set up an OnlyFans for her hair because she's got really, really long hair.
But what does she do?
She just, like, brushes it and puts it in plaits and then, like, films it.
And I wonder to what degree it's sexual or if it's just therapeutic, because that's the thing with, like, ASMR, isn't it?
I think with the hair and the feet, it's a sexual thing. Do you remember, did we go to the...
Do you want to see Ellie's hairy toes? She mentioned her hairy toes last week. I think Kate Nash put her feet on OnlyFans.
Yes, I think she said she did.
Because she was saying that, if I'm not making money from the music and I want to do music, I'll
pay for it somehow.
I'll pay for the music with my feet.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Okay, and then we go to Olivia's email. So I'd forgotten that I scanned through these emails just to sort of double check, which is how we were able to dip into Steve's last week. When it was
I don't remember doing that.
I did think I was going to have a little practice of some of what Olivia's written, but I haven't. Hi, David and Ellie. Another brilliant podcast this week.
Thank you, Olivia.
I will keep saying it because it's always true! ! Smiley face. Thoughts this week. I cannot...
Sorry, how do you do an exclamation mark and a smiley face? Because I
You
thought...
do exclamation mark after the word true, and then you have a space.
Oh, is it a smiley actual emoji or like...
Emoji, yeah.
Is it smiley emoji? Or is it like a colon? Because if I do a smiley face, I'll do a colon capital D.
Yes.
Or sometimes a colon right bracket.
Sometimes that will then turn it into an image, and sometimes it'll leave it... Yeah, sometimes it leaves it as the things you've typed, and sometimes it depends on whether you've selected one from the list of emojis.
No, I'll just type them out.
One, yeah.
That's why I was asking, because I thought if you do, because that's sometimes when I'll do a colon D, if I'll do that, I then won't do a full stop afterwards. Because I don't know, having never seen, I don't know whether if I did a colon D and a full stop, if that would obfuscate the smiley face.
Yeah, would it look like a little
I don't know.
sideways
Will you imagine
sticking out
it?
Tongue, maybe? Or like a weird beard on the
Is that what it
smiley
looks
face?
like?
I don't know. It could
Well,
be
can you not
interpreted
imagine it in
that
your
way.
head?
No, because as
No,
we've
she's got
done...
aphantasia.
Yeah.
She can't see things in her head.
I cannot unsee Steve's Le Creuset boobs now. Laughy smiley face.
OnlyFans, Steve?
So what I did do on the image to promote the podcast this time was I had Beyonce's face in a circle and I had Steve's Le Creuset boobs in the circle. And initially they were stacked on top of each other.
delicious.
And then I thought, that is not suitable for Beyonce. So I've separated them.
What do you mean it's not so dull, Beyonce?
Well, it looked like Steve's Le Creuset boobs were then hers, the way I first laid it out. And that seemed disrespectful to both.
Not to Steve, though.
To both.
Just Beyonce.
Absolutely loved the Boaty-licious Felix Sturway's Beyonce mashup. Brilliant, heart.
Well, Helen's been falderolly-rolling around the park.
I mean, if only she'd recorded it and sent it to us, and we could have had extra layers of Hillsborough Park.
We could have added Helen's falderolly-rolling onto the thing. It could have been part of the song. Maybe that would have clinched it for Beyonce.
Maybe she needs to hear a female
You'd
voice.
have some ducks in the background.
Yeah.
And would that be also like the, is it the Incredible String Band? Who did, all the ducks are swimming in the water, falderalderaldo, falderalderaldo. Is that the Incredible String Band?
Now.
Obviously sampled by Lemon Jelly. Yes, it was Lemon Jelly. It's called Nice Weather for Ducks,
Nice
that
Weather
one.
for Ducks.
But I think it's the
Sample.
Incredible String Band and something about ducks on a pond. Is it called Ducks on a Pond, or is that a different song? I think Ducks on a Pond might be a different song. Or the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, maybe.
Do you need me to be part of this discussion?
Well, I'm asking the question.
I'm going to tell you the thing.
But I'm...
The track is primarily built around a sample of John Longstaff's.
John Longstaff?
John Langstaff's All the Ducks, which is an English translation of the traditional Dutch children's song. So John Langstaff, his middle name was Meredith. He was a concert baritone and early music revivalist and founder of the tradition of Christmas revels.
I think After Eights are more popular, to be honest, John. I don't think you...
He wrote 25 books, including the Caldecott Medal-winning Frog Went A-Courting.
Oh, that's the Froggy Went A-Courting.
Yeah.
I can't remember the
So
rest of
it
this.
wasn't...
So it wasn't Incredible String
No.
Bands. They did Ducks on a Pond, I think, though. All the ducks are swimming
Incredible
in the water.
String Band.
There you go. Falderalderaldo, falderalderaldo.
9 minutes 12.
What is? Ducks on a Pond? Ah, it's almost as long as it takes us to get to Olivia's email. Right.
She hasn't even written that much this week.
Oh,
Relatively.
okay.
Interesting.
Well, if she's had her relatives round, then it just excuse things. Okay. Continue.
I still need to put the bedding back on the bed, David, because I stripped it to wash it. So we need
Strip it and wash it. New OnlyFans.
we need to finish this email.
Okay.
Interesting about Le Spirit d'Escalier. I had a feeling it was a thing, but didn't know that's what it was called. He has spoken to me since. I see him regularly. He just doesn't seem as friendly anymore, which is sad, as I like being friends with people. Sad face emoji, but that's a typed one.
Oh, so how's you done that?
So that-
colon
yeah.
left paren. I say paren because my screen reader sometimes says paren.
Yes,
rather
is that
than
for
right
the
left
curved
bracket.
Yeah. Another challenge for you.
Okay.
This week we were playing Guess Who again with my 5-year-old daughter. She decided to change it up and think of animals instead. We're all doing well with guessing the usual farm and zoo animals when she thought of an animal and had my whole family stumped. And I wonder if you guys or the listeners can guess which animal she was thinking of.
Good point. So she told you the answer, or is she going to tell us that next week?
She's going to tell us next week.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done,
So
Olivia.
we all get to play.
We all get to play, right?
So the animal has 4 legs. Mm-hmm. It does not have wings or feathers, but it can fly.
Ooh.
It is a real animal. We asked if she'd ever seen one in a zoo or anywhere, and she said no, she'd never seen one in real life, but she'd seen photos and knew it was definitely real, so not a unicorn. And it's not a type of bird. Bear in mind that she is only just 5. I did get it eventually, but it took me a while. What do you all think? Answer next week.
Is it a dog that's been thrown? Because he says he can fly. Anything can fly if you throw it.
Well, I was thinking there's like a flying squirrel.
Has it not got wings?
No. So it's just got an extra flappy bit of skin sort of between its belly and its elbows that works a bit like its arm, like from its front legs. So, like, could it be a bat?
The bats. The trouble is, I'm not being able to see Olivia. Yeah, I'm not allowed to see you, Olivia. I'm sorry, but Ellie.
Oh, no, it can't be a bat because it doesn't have wings. A bat does have
that's
wings.
what I was thinking. But I didn't know. I suddenly thought, I just assumed a bat had wings, but not being able to see, I've absolutely no idea.
Well, I was just thinking because a bat's wings are essentially its arms, but again with a very thin bit of skin.
Right.
Its wings are made of skin.
So I'm not very good at
this.
this.
So I'm going with a flying squirrel.
I know.
Yeah.
Ant.
But that's got a flying ant's got wings.
Oh, that's it.
And has more than 4 legs.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Listeners, guess.
Yeah.
You can guess in the Facebook group if you want, but don't tell them, Olivia, until next week. Don't put it in the group. Only put it in the email.
Okay.
And we will read it out and reveal next week. Because the last thing I want is people not listening. That's obviously not going to happen because the story of the Brain King is next week.
Of course. I had a really good chortle. I said that in a weird way.
Chortle. She went all northeastern. You had a good chortle.
I had a really good chortle at Ellie reading her book with the F's rather than the S's. If I have that right, it's with the exception of capitals and N letters. Yes, I think that's what it was.
End letters.
End letters.
All right,
so if it's like a plural. I thought this would be a good idea, but then I thought it might create problems. For example, what if you were a mariner? You would fail your boat. You might even fail around the world. The fee would be a problem, and you would often need the fee for failing. I think Steve's on a failing holiday at the moment. Are you enjoying the fee, Steve? I think failing holidays might be, unfortunately, quite pricey. So I'm not sure that changing the S for F is a good idea in that context. We have had another update from Steve. He's sent us a little postcard today in the group from Iceland.
All right.
So he said he's got 2 more ports to go to.
He's not heard the podcast yet. A lot of people are commenting on Steve's shanty collaboration, but
well, he said
Steve's
he downloaded it. So whether or not he's had time to listen, or maybe he's just been singing shanties on board. Plus, it would be problematic as it can make innocuous events turn hilarious and rather rude. And as an example, I'll tell you about the time I accidentally dropped my evening meal on the floor. Buckle up, Ellie. You may need to read this slowly. Okay. So I don't think you can interrupt in this bit because it's going to take a bit of...
on suspense, does it?
I think... Well, I haven't fully read through, but there's a lot of f's instead of f's.
Oh, my goodness. We're still doing that.
Yes.
My goodness, Olivia.
Okay, here we go. Last Thursday, I made a tafty mustard fourth for my foffages. And as I took my fupper to the table, I lost my balance. I stubbed my toe on a nearby fack of potatoes and crashed to the ground, banging my fin. The foffages fell on the floor, the potatoes all fell out of the fack, a mustard fourth...
Fack is probably what you shouted.
went everywhere. Fourth went all up down my trousers. Fourth went... Fourth... went under the sideboard and all over the kitchen mat. It folked in, making the mat all foggy. The potato fack was foggy too. It was a right mess. I rubbed my fin and my poorly toe, then went upstairs and had a shower to get rid of all of the mustard forth, which had folked through my clothes.
I'm going to say goodbye to the rest of the listeners. If you'd like to switch off now, feel free. We'll see you next week. Meanwhile...
We've got 3 more sentences, maybe 4. By the time I came downstairs, the remaining mustard forth had dried onto the floor and the foffages were looking very fad and were unfalsifiable. I picked up the potatoes and the soggy old fat.
Hang on, soggy now.
Foggy, sorry.
Ah,
I picked up
your standard slip there, Olivia.
picked up the potatoes and the foggy old fack. Then I resorted to getting out my vacuum cleaner and fucking everything up. Yes, even the fuffages. I have a machine that fucks brilliantly and is very powerful. No fopper for me. Fad face emoji. and this is why changing the S for an F in a text and reading it aloud is probably not a good idea. 2 laughy smiley emojis. Best wishes, Olivia. Kiss, kiss.
Ah, excellent,
So
Will.
there we go.
That was very good. So we will be back next week with all sorts of things, including part 2 of the story of the Brain King. Until then, from me, David Eagle.
And me, Ellie Eagleskinner.
Goodbye.
Bye.